Assalamu alaikum, hello and welcome. I'm Farah Khaleck and this is Selfie Chats with Farah, where we inspire personal growth by sharing diverse experiences that will positively charge and transform mindsets to love and appreciate oneself. In today's episode, I am joined by Dina Saoudi, who is the co-founder of Seven Circles and Seven's World and Empowering Through. Hello, Dina, and thank you for hanging out with me today. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be with you, Farah. You know how much I love you. So now everybody will know too.
Yes, they will, and I love you so much as well. For those of you who don't know, Dina and I connected on Clubhouse, and we are like soul sisters now. I'm
Yes, we are.
always sharing so much with Dina. I feel so good whenever I speak to you. You just are that bolt of energy that I always need. So thank you.
That's how I feel about you. And I think that's how a lot of people feel when they hear you, Farah. You're inspiring all of us all the time.
Shukran. Alhamdulillah.
And Clubhouse, are you on Clubhouse these days?
No, I haven't been on there. I went the last time, remember when we had the reunion room? After that,
Yeah.
I haven't been there. And oh, it's ever changing. Like, it's, oh God. I feel like we should go back.
Well, at least thank you for the founders of Clubhouse. They gave us each other. But yeah, I'm not really on there either these days. But, it's okay.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
that's life, I
Mhm.
guess.
Yeah, some things change. But
Mm,
hopefully our friendship is forever.
yes, it is. Definitely, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Great. So before we start, I would like to quickly remind our viewers to subscribe to my channel, and listeners, do follow the show on whatever platform you're enjoying this podcast on. All right, Dina, could you tell us a little bit more about what you do, about Empowering Through, and what is Seven Circles?
Sure. So my name is Dina Saoudi, or Dina Saoudi for those who don't speak Arabic. I am the co-founder of Seven Circles, and Seven Circles is an investment and consulting firm. We're operating in 10 plus countries. And we also have a social enterprise that's very big on impact, and that Farah knows a lot about, but now everybody else will too. And yeah, I think that's what you wanted, right? Just a brief, not to go into details.
Yes, Dina, thank you so much.
Sure.
Empowering Through is an amazing project that Dina has spread throughout a number of countries, and also coming soon to Kenya. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're super excited. I'm working on it, and inshallah, you guys will also hear about it soon. All right, Dina. Take us through your morning routine. How does your morning look like?
Well, like as a typical parent, I have a child, one who is more demanding than the other one, who decides to wake me up in the morning, whether I like it or I don't, even on weekends. And he's very cute. So he starts with, Mom, I need my morning hug. That's how he starts. But that's how my day begins. Usually he also wants something else, like, am I going to go on this play date? Can I eat something? Like there's another ask that happens right after. But usually I have a little boy. His name is Hamza. He's my alarm clock every day, every morning. So yes. Do you want to start with that? Do you want me to tell you more?
Yes, please tell us
Yeah.
more. How does the day
Okay.
then go?
Yeah, kids get ready to go to school. We go through that routine. And then I drop them off. And then right after that, I have I get ready. I like to take my shower in the morning for those who like to know. I don't know how many would, but anyway, so it's just my way of really waking up. I get ready. I sometimes pass by my parents if I can, and my sisters. I really believe in family and their time, and they live very close by, thank God. At this time, I was based half across the world away at some point for many, many years. So it's a privilege to be 2 minutes away from them. And I just sit down there and we just talk about anything. And then I start my morning meeting at 9:30 a.m. with an incredible team. I'm very blessed to have them in my life. And In the end, then it's back to back meetings and calls and messages, and I think you have a glimpse of how my life is, Farah, sometimes. So yeah, I
I
don't. I mean,
definitely do. You do go out of your way, and your days are, oh God, Gina will always be jumping from one meeting to another.
it
And
is.
I
It's
always
usually.
remind you to take a break, Dina, breathe.
I'm working on that. Yes, I love my coffee. I know people don't like coffee these days, but I really like my coffee with milk and sugar. So it's even like a lot of people are gonna be like, no, yeah, especially the sugar part. But
I also take it with milk and sugar.
yeah, it's just I'm that person, and maybe one day I won't be, but until then, approaching almost 40, I'm still that person. But
Right.
yeah, I want to tell you that I eat breakfast every morning, but that's so not true. I think my coffee will always be more important than my breakfast. And I know it's supposed to be the most important meal of the day, but okay, maybe someday. And yeah, I eat too many chocolates and I probably shouldn't. This is more real of who I am. I walk a lot. I need to. My brain functions better in movement. So I walk
Mm,
all the time. So yeah,
that's amazing. Dina, what would you see as your best character trait?
character, trait
Trait, yeah.
about myself. Oh, wow. Well, I'm hoping I have a few and not one, but my best. I don't know if I have a best, Farah, but like immediately when you ask that, I think it's resilience. Like I've been through so much in life, different things, and I I think my immediate response is just pick up and keep going. Like I know things are going to be tough some days, and sometimes you don't want to, and you don't want to leave your bed. And I respect that a lot of people won't be able to leave that bed. And I learned that the hard way recently that you can't expect everybody to just move, and jump out. And I respect that. But I personally have pushed myself outside of my bed when things were not okay over and over and over again. And hopefully, God willing, I'll continue to do that up until the day I die. So, yeah.
That's
Does that
amazing.
answer
And
you? Yeah, okay.
yes, yes, definitely.
I want to tell you
Um,
kind. I hope I'm kind. I don't know. Patient,
oh
maybe.
yes, you are. You are.
I
You
don't
are.
know. But yeah,
All right. What's the one thing that's always in your purse?
money. I hope I'm joking. I don't know. Pictures of people I love. I know that sounds like very simple that we don't do anymore because we have our phones with those pictures, right? But I still have like, those passport pictures. I still have those. I just always think that God forbid I just I want to keep those with me. And small letters. I have letters from people I really love and I keep those with me too. So yeah.
Subhanallah. I also
Yeah.
have a picture of my mom and dad in passport size, always in
Yeah.
my purse.
I just, yeah, and letters from loved ones. I feel like, I mean, at the end of the day, when we're not here anymore, what do we really
Mm,
want? Moments
yeah.
with the people we love. So yeah.
What were you most afraid of when you were a child? As a child?
What was I afraid of as a child? Probably loneliness, to be alone, to be abandoned. Yeah, and I think that it really pushed me to knock on doors. That feeling that I had back then, to say hello to people, assuming that many others out there are really lonely right now and they're not okay. And I think some people do really need us to knock on their doors and check in, are you okay? And remind them that they're not alone. And I think it's because I felt so alone at many times in my life.
Oh.
Yeah. I
Are
know
you
I'm not
still
alone
afraid of
now,
being
for those worried.
are you still afraid of being alone today?
So something interesting happens when you spend a lot of time alone. You own it. You start thinking that at the end of the day, even when I'm alone, I'm with me. So you start working on that relationship, and not being so afraid of it and coming up with ideas and strategies and thoughts of what I would like to do. So I mean, I've done a lot of things alone. I've written books, I've came up with new strategies for the work that we're doing. So I've painted. So I've done a lot of things alone and I kind of found peace in being by myself. But alone and lonely are very different, Farah. So for me, my fear was usually more loneliness than being alone. And I wanted to just talk about that a bit. And loneliness, I think you can be very lonely surrounded with people when you don't feel seen or heard or understood. So that's something I really am working on, is like, do I still worry about feeling lonely? And I'm working on that, not feeling lonely, sharing from my pain when I'm not okay. I am a giver. So by default, it means when people are not okay, I try my best to take care of them. And I'm so bad at asking for help and saying, I'm in pain right now. I need support, or I'm not feeling good and I need support. So I'm working on those things.
That's so beautiful, Dina. And
Happy
I'm
yeah.
sending you a hug right now.
And I'm feeling it and I'm giving you back that hug.
Thank you. All right. So any one memory that always stands out whenever you think of childhood?
Yes, I remember being in school. I remember being around 7. And I remember this older man cleaning in like the garbage, and the kids are all running around, and that man, he's cleaning like I think it was a juice box, and it was dripping. And I just remember thinking, oh my god. And it was just such a big moment for me of like, how is it that a man who's older than my grandpa is there cleaning after children who are oblivious, who are not even looking at him? Like, what is so wrong with our world that we have that happen, where first we're not cleaning after ourselves, and second we have people who should be retired and okay and just fine, actually working up until when they're obviously in pain and really, really exhausted. So yeah, I remember that. And I remember thinking that, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do in the future, but I hope to God one day I'll make sure that that does not happen. That the elderly, those in pain, are the ones who are actually taken care of, where we clean up after them. So yeah, small moments like that.
That is so beautiful, Dina. I take it that you are close to your grandparents.
Yes, I have two grandmothers. We're
Oh,
very, very
mashallah,
close. Yes,
mashallah.
they're they're very, very, yeah. One is a clinical psychologist, and she earned her PhD at the age of 60. So, mashallah, she's a fantastic powerhouse. And the other woman
Wow.
plays cards. And whenever you're there, you have to play what is called Russian hand. Really cool game.
Ah,
So-
how cool is that?
and
That's so
if in,
cool.
yeah, but in case anybody ever ends up playing with her, they should know that she has to win. So if you guys are thinking of
Oh,
winning,
okay.
no, no, no. Okay. Yeah, you let her win. Okay.
I'm sure everyone does.
Yeah.
What is one quality about each of your grandmoms that you admire the most?
So my grandmother, the professor, or who's the PhD in clinical
Mm-hmm.
psychology, what I admire about her is that right after her second stroke, she wrote a book. And nothing stops her, Farah. Nothing stops her.
Mm,
She's a go-getter. She has a very big purpose, and she's
mm,
just on the go. And
mm,
yet doesn't have that many friends. Amazing, like she has so much work, so much to do, and a lot of clients, but not that many friends. So my from
mm,
this one, I take the purpose, the love for everything that she does. And from the other one, who is surrounded with friends, who does not work. But Farah has so many friends everywhere you go. Her phone rings 50 times at least a day with people who love this woman who does not work, the one who plays
oh,
cards. And from
oh,
her, I take the importance of community. Yes, it's awesome
mm,
to pursue your purpose, but don't forget to just be nice with the people around you and to make
mm,
friendships, not just who are there because they need something from you, but those who are want to be there for you, who you're going to be there with, and make sure you have your friendships that you actually work on making sure that they're okay too, that they exist in your life too. So from her, I learned the power of community, the power of not being alone, the power of making sure you check in on people, make sure that they don't feel alone, and the importance of friendships and relationships.
that is so beautiful. And those are such important things in today's world, in today's times as well.
Mhm.
Um, Thanks for sharing those. When were you most
Right.
proud of yourself?
When was I most proud of myself? So this is something I also need to work on, which is to feel proud of myself. I am so used to doing things. I don't even spend a second saying bravo when we accomplish anything. I'm always like, okay, but what's the next project, right? Like, it's just, we're always in a race. And so moments where I felt proud of myself, um, I don't know. I'm, I'm trying to remember one moment. I think I think I take it in when people who are important to me tell me that they're proud of me. So when I have girlfriends of mine who are very close and important to me, they tell me, Dina, this was great. And I really respect those people. I feel like, okay, maybe I did something great today. When I hear it from my parents and my loved ones, I feel it, I feel good in that moment. But between me and myself, I will have to get back to you on that and maybe have more moments when I reflect with me. But I hope one day I will feel it more than I do. I mean, take actually a moment to say that to myself. But again, Farah, people like me and probably like you, I don't know if you feel that too, but with very big dreams and very big purposes and very big heavy weight on our shoulders, where we feel like we want to do so much more. My pride towards myself, but I'm not done. I have so much more I need to do.
Mm,
So it's okay, great, yes, fantastic that this happened, X happened, but I need 10x and 100x because a lot of people
mm,
need that right now. And I don't know, it's important that people like us keep fighting for them, because I know
mm.
them, see them, I love them, and even if I don't, I know that they exist and it's enough for me. Like knowing that there's a child out there who's hungry right now, like, oh, I mean, we need to do something about that. So yeah.
It's true. It's true. You're a high achiever, Gina. Um,
Okay. It's a curse and a blessing, maybe, I don't know, but it's a curse.
and a blessing, yes. Finish this sentence. Life is too short to
Not smile and laugh all the time,
love
or
it.
find joy everywhere. Huh.
Mm,
Life is too short to not find joy everywhere.
right. And what brings you joy?
Moments, really beautiful moments, like, and stories, great stories.
Mm,
The people who are doing great things everywhere. I mean, there's a woman who decided to build an entire forest with her husband. Did you hear about the woman in Brazil? It's amazing. Like, she just woke up with her husband and decides that they want to plant. 20 years later, they have an entire forest. I mean, that's awesome that they were able to just do something and completely take initiative and not wait for anybody to do something for them, give them anything. So yeah, moments like that, the artists, the singers, or the chefs that are doing amazing things all the time. I mean, thank you for those who come up with series us that we watch on Netflix. I mean, very grateful to have a lot of good people
yes,
out there who are,
right.
yeah, of course, we're thanking the doctors, the lawyers, and the engineers, and in my case, the entrepreneurs and the tech entrepreneurs, especially for like Zoom, for moments like this,
Hmm,
so to communicate. But yeah, I mean, I look for those who are just doing things that they love to do, and I feel like these are blessings because we end up being blessed as a world because they're pursuing their purposes. So yeah,
true, so true. Something that you do without fail.
that I do without fail. No, no, I will fail in anything that I do. What I learned is that to be okay with failure. That I'm working on.
Ah,
Okay.
nice. That is so important, Dina.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we fail and we get so disheartened, and it's like the end of the world, but really it's a learning block, and I wish we can be more open to failing. Failing is cool. I know that more than
Yeah.
anyone else.
So definitely, without a doubt, I am working on that. I'm working on being much better with failure.
Hmm. How does Dina handle high stress situations? What take us through your mindset at that moment, how you react and how you navigate that time, that situation.
Maybe I'll give an example. It's easier because I feel like they vary and they are different. The stressors, right? Like what is causing me stress. So there was a moment when my child was 3. I have 2 boys, Hashim and Hamza. Hashim is today 10 and Hamza is 3. So when he was 3, Hashim, very, very young, I gave him Advil, which is after his antibiotics, and he didn't want it. I mean, he was 2.5, 3, and he didn't really want it, but it's quite typical for a child not to want something. But in my case, he didn't want something that actually caused him a severe allergic reaction. And at 2 a.m. in the morning, I had to take my very young child to the hospital, the emergency room. And the doctor that night told me that he may not wake up. So for me, that was probably extreme stress in ways that, I mean, I didn't know. So how I dealt with that moment was I really relied on God because there are some moments that are much bigger than you. And I have faith in a God that's much bigger than me. And I mean, I've studied a lot of religions: Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Taoism. I studied the Torah. I find him everywhere. And I wanted to learn about how people see their gods. And really, honestly, I feel like God is one and he is love. But I relied on him because there are moments when humans are very tiny. We're too small. And in moments like that, all I said is, he's your child first. And I spent that night just praying, holding my child and thinking that, okay, I need to be okay with whatever comes after. And there was this extreme guilt because I was the one who gave him that Advil, like I'm the mom who forced him to take this medicine. But we woke up in the morning and he was fine. Alhamdulillah, and he survived that night and he's 10 now and he's a very powerful, beautiful boy. And alhamdulillah, there were no
Alhamdulillah.
side effects. But these are the moments that are the extreme stressors for me. The extreme, like what happens when they're extreme or so much bigger than there's nothing I can do, right? Then there
Mm,
are other moments when there are more solutions oriented, like we have extreme stress at work, for example, and how do I deal? I'm very solutions oriented. Like when things are in emergency mode, I pause. I look at I am practical. I work with my mind and then I deal with the pain. So if there's going to be a crash, for example, it'll be done right way after everything has been done and sorted. When everybody's home, everybody's safe, and everything has been sorted, then maybe I will cry a bit or whatever. But during that time, I don't know if it's a good thing or a not so good thing because some people tell you that you need to focus and feel your emotions. I bury them. I'm solutions oriented. I look at what I need to do. I figure it out, and once it's all done, I acknowledge and deal with my feelings. So I don't know if that helps. Does it answer you?
yes, it does. It's amazing, Dina. I love how at one point you're submissive to what Allah has planned and what the outcome will be, and yet on the other side, you are also resilient and you want to find the solutions and um, try to find other ways and means to figure things out. I love this about you. You're so diverse in your ways. It's amazing. Subhanallah. I love the combination of submission and yet being resilient. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it usually comes with one question. Can I do anything? Is I can,
Mm,
with my human abilities, very limited human abilities,
mm,
do something about this? If the answer is yes, then I will. I'll do everything I can. If it's no, then I submit. It's bigger than me. And I think that's what
mm,
happens with a lot of people. They don't realize that there are things that are much bigger than them. So it becomes very frustrating, but I need to do something, but you can't.
mm,
It's somebody who's not okay right now. You need to just sit down and pray and let go. And it's the hardest thing to do. It's the hardest thing to do. And I know that when it comes to the subject of God, we have mixed views, right? We have those who really believe in God and they really understand where that belief comes from. And others are like, no, we don't understand. So okay, whatever floats your boat, whatever works, whatever you want to talk to the universe instead, you want to talk to something bigger than you as a human being. If you can't and you want to talk to something inside, fine. But there has to be a moment when you don't crash as an individual. And we need to work on how to make sure that you don't. So for me, trusting in a God that's bigger than me helps. And for them, they need to figure that out. So yeah, I hope that helps others.
well put, Lina.
I try.
Very well put.
I've learned that from a lot of people who've been through so many crazy, crazy,
Mm.
oh my God, things. I learned from many how to, and I'm still learning. And I don't know what will happen if tomorrow an extreme circumstance takes place, but I hope I'll be able to apply what I've learned so far.
Do you know what is one of your long-term goals?
Inner peace and inner joy, to sleep very comfortably.
Mm,
To
beautiful.
and now we learned from you to feel more moments where I'm proud of myself and I look at Dina and I'm like, oh, you're great. I don't know
Yes.
if that's gonna happen anytime soon, but until then, I hope I hope I remain grounded. I hope that no matter what God gives me in the future, that I find joy everywhere and that I enjoy the people I'm with, Farah, that I spend times with my grandmothers, focus on them and not too busy thinking about the project that I have to. When I'm with my family, that I'm focused on my mom and her needs and her wants and not thinking about,
Mm,
everything that's happening at work or whatever else that's taking place in our everyday lives. So I feel like really being in the now, focusing, which is a lot of, I mean, scholars talk about that, but really implementing that, not just saying it, to actually be in the now, to be focused on what you're doing with the people you're with, to when your son is hugging you, to take in that hug and not be too distracted wanting them to sleep. I mean, these are the moments that I want to make sure that I continue having more of as time progresses, appreciating the very moment I'm in.
yes. And I think we all need to do a lot more of that as well. Thank you so much for reminding us.
Well,
um,
thank you for asking.
what's one thing that you wanted to do but not yet been able to do or brave enough to try?
Oh my God, lady. One thing, I want to make sure the world is fed, healed, and sheltered. I want everybody to have an opportunity to dream and have no limits. I want people to know that they're loved no matter where they are, no matter what they've done. So I have a lot of wants and needs that I will probably never live, but it's what I want. And I learned when
Mashallah.
you're young, when you're very, very young, they tell you that these illusions of yours of wanting to change the world,
Mm,
um, you'll grow out of them because you'll be more pragmatic, more realistic, and you'll realize,
mm,
haha, maybe I'm 37 now and I'm not too sure I'm done dreaming. I may not live those dreams, but I may not.
mm,
And I understand that I also, my needs is not to be this, not to be, not to have anybody clap their hands and say, bravo, Dina. I don't want Dina to play any role in it. It's just that I want the world to be fed, healed, and sheltered. Whether it's me, somebody else, doesn't really matter. It's just, it's broken today. And that's really hard to know that this is happening and that we're not working towards a collective goal or a collective way of fixing those big pains, right? Everybody's doing something, but it's like a puzzle, and they're working on a tiny piece, but they're not interconnected. So we don't really know the impact and the right strategy to end all these pains in like 2023 or sorry, 2030 or 2040. So, and these are things I think about. So I'll never reach them. I don't think so.
mm.
But they're on my mind. Needs and wants for
Right.
those who'd like to share my burdens. I mean, they probably already have them, but yeah.
Mm. They're amazing, and they say so much about you as a person, Dina. Um, yeah. How would you say someone should? eh, Okay, so could you share one quick way to spread kindness?
So there is something very beautiful in Islam, and I really studied a lot of religions, and I learned a lot more about Islam when I was a grown up. I mean, I was born Muslim, like most of us who are born to Muslim families, but I didn't really understand it up until I grew a bit older and I read it and I understood it from a different perspective. Because, when we were raised in this world, it was more fear based. God will send you to hell if you don't do one, two, three. And I didn't understand that at all. So there's one thing, which is to say hello to everybody. Salam. You're supposed to say hello everywhere you go. And I didn't understand that because I didn't see it implemented here anyway. So in my world, I didn't see people smiling at each other and saying hello. I didn't see that enough. So I learned after a while a bit more about that is that when you do say hello, when you do say in the Islam case, it's salam or wishing them peace and acknowledging that they exist, looking to their eyes, seeing them, understanding that they're human beings. Sorry, Farah, I got a call as usual. So anyway, when you do say hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I can.
Okay, so when you do, I'm so sorry, just like too many calls as per usual. But anyway, so when you do say hello and you actually do see people, acknowledge that their existence, and then you talk to them, and you're just, like that's how the world's interconnected. Like if we just could spend just 1 minute on that, saying hello to strangers, maybe the homeless person, knowing why they're there, saying hello to the lonely kid who's the teenager who's not having good thoughts right now maybe and feeling very alone, and and we can see the moms who are exhausted with their children and maybe support somehow, and or the dads that are feeling really not productive enough in an economy that's completely destroyed. Like we don't know who needs our hello. We don't know who needs a job right now. We don't know who needs just to be heard in any capacity. And the more we say hello, the more we connect the dots, the more we support in any capacity we can, and the more we're supported. What if we're the ones who need jobs? What if we're the ones with children who we just need 2 minutes to breathe, between the
True.
screen? And what if we're the homeless people on the streets? I mean, it could have been us who are the refugees without any
Hmm.
kind of, we could have been anybody. And I feel like very connected to that. I'm very aware of that, that the
Hmm.
humanity really is one, and there's a collective oneness. And the more awake you are, the more you see all those around you, the more you say hello, that's what I would want as a start. Just acknowledgement, look in their
Hmm.
eyes, hello. And then things will make more sense. You'll understand why you met them when you ask them how
Hmm.
they're, and you understand more about them. No judgment.
It's so true. So true. Gosh. Sometimes we're so busy in whatever we're doing. We don't even know who's seated next to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. That's so it's really taken me. Yeah. I'm going to take that up and say hello a lot more. I'll be saying salam a lot more. Yeah. Do you know when you look into the mirror, do you love what you see?
Uh, I mean, you want me to lie and tell you, yes, I love what I see? Sure, great. Okay. In reality, I don't know how much I spend time looking in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, except to brush my teeth and make sure there's nothing on my teeth, or like making sure there's nothing on my face. But do I love what I see? But I learned from you and others that beauty is not really in what you see in the mirror, but really in what you see beyond, right? The spirit. I mean, am I grateful to have my eyes and my nose and my mouth and everything else? Yes, it's fine. And I look familiar. I think when I look in the mirror, I mean, I've seen this person for a very long time. So I'm a familiar face. But what I try to see is beyond. And I think I've been that person everywhere I go. And there are feelings that you have. And I try to explain it in a way, but Farah, when you meet people, and some people are so beautiful, they're so not aesthetically. After they start talking, they start like Socrates and what he said. Let him speak so that I can see him. Like they start talking, and you feel their spirits, and they transform into the most beautiful people you've ever seen. And then there are those who are aesthetically pretty, maybe by definition of society or enough plastic surgeons, I don't know. But then they start talking, and you're like, I can't look at this person anymore. Like I'm done. Like this is not giving me comfort, and I don't want to keep looking. So for me, I think the spirit makes you a lot more beautiful, and it'll show the sparkles in your eyes and the smiles and the goodness and the joy that we feel in communicating with you. And I feel beauty really is in the eye of the beholder, but really it's also in the spirit that is reflected in the eyes we see.
Beauty
So
is in the spirits. I love that. And it's
I
true,
don't.
it shows in your eyes, it shows in the way you glow, it shows in your smile, it shows in how people feel around you. There's some people who, when they come into a room, and not everyone is happy that they're there, and there's some who come in and they bring this amazing light to them, and they just lift everyone up, and subhanallah. And that's what the spirit does, right? That's the energy, that's their aura. I love that. It's
And
so
there is.
true.
I met somebody who's I forgot really her faith, but I think she was either Christian or one kind of Christianity. And she said something very sweet to me. And she was very frustrated with a free priest that she met for different
Mhm.
purposes. And this was back in San Francisco. And she's like, you know what, Dina? Those who know God, they must make you feel free after they talk
Mm,
and love.
mm, mm,
It doesn't matter what they're preaching. It doesn't matter what they're talking about. They will make you feel loved, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, no matter.
mm.
They're the ones that make you feel loved. So that I take with me, like, okay. So it may not necessarily be those with titles or those who are wearing certain attires. representing religions or sects, but it could actually be the ones that believers, the kind ones that make you feel loved.
That is so true. That is so true. And that's I see that every single day. um, do you know what makes you feel optimistic about the future?
The people like you, Farah, the good ones, the happy ones, the believers in the goodness of us all, the ones that love so purely and so with courage and no limitations. And people like you, they make me feel like the world's going to be okay. And when I look at our children and I look at how happy they are when they are, and of course they have moments when they want things and they're spoiled, but we still love them. But nonetheless, when really I'm being honest, and I'm in refugee camps and I'm seeing a lot of children everywhere, and I need to feel optimistic. It's not a choice because the world is really not okay. And I want to believe that there's going to be more for them, a lot more for them. So, inshallah.
Inshallah. And people like you also make me feel optimistic about the future, Dina. Oh, I love you.
I love you more, inshallah. But and if it's not us, I mean, I heard
Hmm.
sometime that you know your words may wake up somebody else. And as
Hmm.
I said,
Hmm.
which is what I talked about before about the feeding, healing, and sheltering, it may not be me. It doesn't have to be me. But maybe when I share my dreams and somebody else would realize it's their dream too, and they will work towards it, and that goal will happen. And that's amazing. That's what I want too. One day we're leaving, we're going to take nothing with us. Nothing, nothing. No bank account, no houses, no cars, no planes, if that's what we want. Nothing. We're taking nothing but our moments and our dreams. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Dina. We're nearing the end now. I'd like you to share with us your life's philosophy.
My life's philosophy. Can I tell you the story of Aya? I've said the story before, but can she's been on my mind?
Yes.
Can I share her story? Okay. So for those who don't know, Aya Agabi, she was 18 years old when she was in a car accident, and she ended up on a wheelchair and paralyzed from the waist down. And that happened on her way to Berkeley. She was going to university in Berkeley. And that didn't happen because of the accident. It happened because somebody moved her after, and that caused that, right? So maybe this is also a lesson for everybody not to move anybody who's in an accident because you don't know what happens. Anyway, I eventually did study. She did go to Berkeley after her treatment for a while, and she came back to Jordan. And for those who don't know, I'm based in Jordan in the Middle East. And she came back here and she realized that, oh my God, this country's not accessible. I can't go anywhere in the wheelchair and the strollers and for moms. And so she decided to make Jordan more accessible, making thousands of places more accessible in this country. She passed away in 2019, sadly, and she was 28 at the time. And she was a very close friend when she was alive, and she was very powerful spirit. Oh my God, she was funny, and she moved us all. But anyway, so before she passed away, I remember telling her, like, Aya, for the love of God, write your story. Please write your story. It's such an important story. And she used to joke and say, Dina, when I'm 40, I will write my story then. She passed away at 28. So unfortunately, we never got to hear her story from her perspective or read it anywhere. So maybe my life's philosophy is to document your thoughts, share your dreams in any way you can, because you matter, your voice matters, and don't postpone anything because we don't know how long we're going to live. So whatever it is that you're dreaming, live those dreams. Whatever it is that you're thinking about, share those thoughts in any way. Document them in emails, in books, in whatever you want, in podcasts like this. But please share, because we want to learn from you, and your thoughts matter. Um, so yeah, I think I'll end with that. And Aya, God bless her. Allah yarhamha, may God bless her
Allah
soul.
yarhamha.
Is is always with me, you know, and her legacy continues. So yeah.
It does. It does. And you're sharing her story, and so many millions really is beautiful, Dina. Oh, I almost. it
Yeah, it's
was nice. Thank you so much.
of
Yeah,
course.
it's true. We have to document. We have to share our thoughts, and in doing so, not only are we telling the world who we are, we are also sharing our strengths and to someone who may need it. You never know who listens to you and finds the courage to get up and do something as well. And that's where I found my courage. When I shared my story, I found courage. I found freedom. I found freedom to be me, and I was spreading strength. That's all I knew. I'm just sharing my strength. And if someone out there sees me and they feel good about themselves, I'm happy. I'm satisfied. Alhamdulillah.
And are we going to write our book anytime soon, Farah?
Yes, yes, Dina. Oh my God, I had committed to it. I even had an accountability partner, and now you got it out of my mouth on this podcast, and now it's out there. And now
Exactly.
I
So
want
this
you to
way,
be my accountability partner as well. So yeah,
exactly.
I'll definitely write it down.
And you,
I am on my way. I remember I had shared. I was really feeling overwhelmed, and yeah, so I'm slowly coming out of that self doubt, and now I am planning to write.
first,
Inshallah.
I want to tell you that you're an inspiration, but I do want to go back to that moment when you talked about your self doubt.
Mm.
And it takes a lot of courage, I think, to admit when you're not okay and that you have those moments of self doubt. And I know people look at you and they're so inspired and they look like, oh, look, she's is very confident, able to share her pain without, and that's okay. But truth is, nobody wakes up wanting to share their pain. It takes a lot of courage, and there's a lot of moments when you don't know if you should, don't know if how people will react when they see you, don't know if you'll be criticized, and you'll actually feel even more broken than you do. So I just want to take a moment and thank you for sharing everything, and thank you for working through those moments of doubt. Thank you for fighting yourself, and every insecurity and every doubt you had to share all of this with us. Honestly, thank you on behalf of many
Alhamdulillah.
who you've inspired and you'll
Alhamdulillah.
continue to inspire.
Alhamdulillah, Dina. Thank you. Thank you. Oh gosh. Allah, Dina. Oh gosh. Thank you so much. I'm so honored and blessed that you're in my life, that I met you, and that we're sisters. And Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah for this. All right. We're nearing the end, Dina. Now we're going to play a short game. Never
Okay.
have I ever.
Oh, we're playing
So
a game? Yalla. Okay.
yes. All right. So I don't know if you had something to drink, or you just answer. So if it's a yes, you can just say yes, I did so, or no, I haven't.
Okay. So
So
I'm
yeah,
saying yes and no depending on your questions. Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes. All right. So never have I ever fallen asleep in public.
No, I haven't. I barely sleep at night.
Right?
Okay.
Oh gosh, never have I ever sang karaoke.
Of course I have. I love karaoke. I'd sing here if I could. Carry on.
Oh wow, that's
Or
so
we'll sing
cool.
together at some point. No, I'm kidding. I love
Yes,
I may not be a great singer, but I love
same,
singing.
same. My voice is also not so
Yeah, of course.
good. Never have I ever ate an entire pizza by myself.
Yeah, I'm not a really pizza person. I mean, I can have a slice. The kids like their pizza, but I'm not. Sorry, it's not for me. The salad,
Mm,
however, the salad bowl, I can eat it all. So yeah.
nice, I love that. Never have I ever gotten stopped by airport security.
My name is Dina Saoudi. Okay, I'm Saudi. And at night after 9/11, if I didn't get stopped, I thought there was something wrong. Like, are you kidding? I'm always stopped by security. They always want to check me out and ask me how I'm feeling at that moment. Are you okay? I'm great. Can I now move on and go to Chicago? Thank you so much. But anyway, yes. No, yes,
Oh
of course.
wow,
Many,
gosh.
many times. Yep.
Oh, Allah. Never have I ever disliked something that I cooked.
Have I disliked something that of course I have disliked things that I've cooked.
Are you
And
a
I've
good
burned
cook?
things. Well, I was back in the days when I cooked a lot more than I am these days. I was one.
Ah,
I work on cookbooks now in all these countries with proceeds going to feed the hungry. But yeah, no, I need to cook more. I'll cook more someday. But anyway, to respond back, my favorite thing is a sandwich, a halloum sandwich, which is our cheese. So I can't really mess that up, and it's usually fine. But yeah,
great, great. All right, so I want you to choose one: moon and stars or sunrise and sunsets.
moon and stars anytime. And
Oh,
stars even more so than the moon.
really?
Mm, yeah.
Nice.
I
I
mean, the
love it.
sunsets and sunrises are great too. It's not like they're bad,
Hmm.
but I wait for the stars.
I love that. I love that. I love how people love this question and they're always choosing moon and stars. And I always thought sunrise and sunset would be the popular choice. But yeah, wow. It's
Mhm.
amazing. All right, Adina, we are close to the end. One final quiz for you. It's psychology. It's a Japanese study of the mind, and I'm going to share a short uh, scenario with you. I'd like you to close your eyes and visualize it, and then
Okay.
explain to me what you're seeing, and then I will share the results on based on your description. Okay,
Okay.
so close your eyes and visualize a tree, and I would
Hmm.
like you to describe the tree that you're seeing. You can take a moment before you start
No,
sharing
no,
with
I see
us.
my tree. I see it. It's very clear.
Okay.
It's a very green, very large, very long tree. Like you can't even see the end of it because it's so, so, so long. And it's in the
Mm-hmm.
midst of many, many other trees. Because you know these beautiful forests that you go to that are so massive. And the trees are
Mm-hmm.
where humans are tiny.
Mm-hmm.
Beside they're very big, big, big trees. It's very green, very beautiful, and it has a lot of birds and it's just very alive, you know?
Mm.
And very big, massive.
Nice. I
Hmm.
love it. Okay, so the tree is thought to suggest the deepest unconscious aspects of the personality.
Okay.
Okay, so you said your tree is large, it's really tall. That means it has a strong trunk, right? So
Yes.
a trunk is often seen as a representation of inner strength, which we see it in you. You had amazing inner strength. Your power is unmatched. And you said it's really green and it's amongst many other trees. That means it has a lot of branches. So the branches may show the degree of social connectedness. So a tree with no branches, for instance, means that the person has little contact with others. So that's quite the opposite with you. Your tree is amongst others and you have a lot of branches. That means you're really connected. You're a social person and you share that with us. You love your family, you love uh, being around people as well as being alone. So you're tall, you're up there, but you're also you love the trees around you, and that's beautifully describes you. The tree crown. You said you had a lot of birds. It's alive.
Yes.
So the tree crown stands for ideas, thoughts, and self-concept. Isn't that amazing? Your ideas are amazing. Your thoughts are beautiful, and the birds around. So self-concept, you're free. Yeah, I think it's a wonderful description of you. Do you agree?
I love that. I agree. Okay, what about the seasons? Because I would like the tree to have four different seasons. I want to see all of them. But that's just me. I
uh,
love trees and nature. So for me, like yeah. But thank you for that. That's beautiful.
it's so amazing. That thank you
Can
so
I
much,
ask you,
Dina.
am I allowed to ask you one last question before we leave, or do we have
Yes.
to have a hard stop? So my question for you, Farah, is what would you tell somebody, like, because you mentioned your self-doubt, right? So what would you tell somebody who's also struggling with self-doubt in this moment?
Oh, oh gosh. I tell them to breathe. It's all in your head. Breathe in, breathe out, and remember it's really all in your head. Um, those voices that are telling you that you can't do, those voices that are telling you to that you're weak, they're not real. Look into the mirror and look at yourself and tell yourself, yes, I can, yes, I will, and I will show you. Tell yourself, I will show you, because that brings accountability to yourself. And I also, I also promise myself a lot of times. I promise myself. So it kind of makes me, hey, I promised myself I have to keep it, you know? So I tell myself, I promise tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll write. So, you know, I have to keep that promise to myself. So I think instead of sometimes we do look for accountability in others. Yes, it's good. It makes it fun. But when you start with accountability with yourself within, that's really that's a really powerful thing, and it's really because now you let yourself down, you know, and you're like, no, you know, it doesn't feel good, and yeah, and so when I start promising myself, and then I also remember a lot. I That's when I tell Allah, okay, you need to help me now. You know, I always hold that to him, and I tell him, we have to do this. Please help me. Give me the strength. And yeah, I slowly then see myself coming out of that rut, and it's not an overnight thing, so it takes time. But yeah, start with you. It starts with you. I hope
I,
yeah.
I love that. Okay, so do we have time for one more question for you, or do we have to say bye?
Is it a long? Okay, one more, last one.
Okay, one more, and then I promise you and to your audience, we will say bye. So, my question to you is, Farah, what would you want to tell our world? Like, if you literally had 7.7 plus billion people listening to you right now, what would you want them to know?
Oh, that's a tough one. Um, but it's not something deep. Um, I tell the world to love themselves. Love you always, always. Start with you, love yourself, and automatically you will spread the love out there. Because a lot of times we're fighting within. You know, we're self hating, we're self judging, we're self doubting, we're doing all these things to ourselves, and outside, obviously, the result is we're not happy beings, we're not meeting people in a nice way, we're not contributing to the world in a nice way, you know. So once we heal from inside, we start um blooming from inside, you know, the flowers start growing inside of you, then automatically the whole world, when they see you, they smile. Because they'll be like, that's a beautiful flower. Yeah, I think that I'd say that. Love you always.
That's so beautiful. The world loves you too, always, Farah.
Alhamdulillah. Shukran, Dina. Thank you so much for joining me today, for hanging out with me. It was
Of
a
course.
pleasure and an honor.
Pleasure and honor is all mine, honey. Anytime.
All right. Thank you for tuning in and watching this episode of the Self Care Chats with Farah. This episode was not sponsored, but it could be. If you enjoyed and you'd like to support the show, please share it with others. Post about it on social media, leave a rating and review. And you can also tip me on my coffee page. As always, all the relevant links will be in the show notes. And for our viewers, if you're watching this on YouTube, do check out the description box. This has been Farah Khaleck, and remember to love you always.